More room up front. We'll just have to squeeze in the best we can. So with that, I'll ask you all to stand, and we're going to say Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So tonight, just want to make it very clear, this is an informational meeting for the town board. The board has not heard all the information on the billboard part of it. So that's going to be presented tonight by Kevin. And then at the end of that, we're going to limit it to 1 minute privilege of the floor. This is not the final decision making. Tonight, if the board decides they can go to the next step, which Dan will outline in just a minute, or if the board says enough is, they want to stop it at this point after they hear the final information, then it'll be over. But tonight is not the formal meeting. If we go to the next step, there will be a bigger meeting, and we'll start it earlier in the afternoon, so everybody can have 3 minutes to speak, and that'll probably be a 4 or 5 hour meeting. I realize that, but that's not going to happen tonight. We're going to have a 1 minute, and if it's repetitive, no, or just repetitive, yes. I just want to respectfully say we're going to stop that because we understand we've got all the letters on file. We're not reading any letters tonight from anybody because we received and filed them. We will have them available. They are available here, but we do take and receive each and every one of them. And at our next meeting, when I say the next meeting, if the board decides they want to go ahead, at the next meeting, all those letters will be available to everybody. We've collected every letter that was given to us and emailed to us or mailed to us. We have them all. The clerks have them, correct? You got them, and they're here tonight. So just give it a little outline on that. So, Dan, do you want to inform the process, please?
Yeah, sure. I'll keep it short, but just like I mentioned at the last public meeting,
Where's the microphone? So all the fans can't hear anything you're saying.
fans off.
Don't turn them off, please. Please.
It's not coming off. Take it off if you want.
Could you all hear me?
Oh.
Heard you well.
Let's do it down here. All right, so I'll keep it short. Like Mike mentioned, there is no.
It's not on.
Louder.
It's on.
You gotta hold it.
Crank it up.
So there's no formal decision being made tonight. There's no final law in place at this point. If the board does decide to move forward with this process after this evening, a secret part 1 still has to be completed. Part 2 and 3, that'll all be part of a coordinated review where all potential involved agencies are on notice. And then the law also has to go to the county planning board for their GML review. And at that point, then there would be a public hearing. Everybody would have another opportunity to speak. But that's pretty much it.
Thank you.
So with that being said, one thing I can't let go by, I was going to read the letter I received. I was given a threatening letter. That's very unacceptable in the town and in the village. I'm just going to read it. We are writing to you regarding the billboard controversy in the town of Homer. You need to understand that residents do not want billboards. You continue to ignore the wishes of the people you represent and have tried various ways to push this issue through. You have no ethics or morals at all. Find another way to finance your retirement that doesn't have such a negative impact on our community. From what we understand, you have a lot to gain personally from the billboard issue being passed, yet you refuse to do the honorable thing and abstain from voting or participating. We've had enough. This letter is to notify you that you are to voluntarily remove yourself from the Homer Town Board effective July 25th, 2025. Your ability to do what's right and fair has been compromised. You're not fit to be supervisor. If you refuse and continue to participate in supporting billboards in our community, unpleasant things will happen to you, your family, and your business that will make you rethink your support of billboards. Not a prediction, a promise. We're tired of being bullied by you and we'll push back hard. Think you're untouchable because you're a supervisor on the town board? Think again. Think about how this decision will impact your family and think about your business. That, as you know, I didn't resign. I will not resign. I will not be bullied. I'm not blaming all the Billboard people on that because there's a lot of honorable people that are opposed to that. I'm a very open person. My phone's on. Anybody can call me anytime and talk to me. Not only goes for all the town board members, the village board, the same way. So this is unacceptable, whether it be to me or to any board member, any village member. That's unacceptable. We just can't tolerate that as a community. I'd like to know who did that. And if we ever do find out, I will press charges, because when you start threatening my family, that's crossed the line. And I was very, very upset about that. You threaten me all you want, don't threaten my family. We're all very active in this community, my whole family. We give a lot, we care a lot for this community. We have farm in this community, my business, I employ 40 people, so I'm rooted here. I've been rooted here for 60 years. So I just had to address that, and I'm not blaming all the Billboard people. I'm not saying that at all, because I've talked to a bunch of you and you expressed your regrets on that. I know it didn't come from everybody, and I appreciate that. I've had a lot of outreach and support, and I do appreciate that. But I just had to address that, because no matter if it happens to me or anybody else, that's just an unacceptable form to do that to anybody. Okay?
Mike,
Yes.
I served on the board with you. I've known you for a lot of years. You're a gentleman, and I'm very proud of that.
Okay, so as I said earlier, we have a bunch of other letters received. Some has to be read tonight. We're not doing that because we'll be here all night. This is still a board informational meeting. I'm glad you guys are here to hear the same stuff that our board members are hearing. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin. Kevin, so you're going to do the presentation.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Put it down on the floor.
Over here, sir.
Okay. So I didn't plan on doing this tonight. I need one more hand to do everything, but I guess we'll just have to deal with it. Okay, so I was tasked with doing this research and presenting to the board, which I've been doing over the last couple of years. And you can see how I approached it from the beginning. And this is what I came up with, and I followed diligently for the time I was doing this research. And I'm going to read it because I believe it, and I want everybody to understand it with me tonight. I aim to approach each issue thoughtfully, balancing legal frameworks, public interest, and long-term town planning by listening first, respecting all sides, and applying smart policy tools like overlay districts. We can arrive at solutions that work for everyone without compromising the character or future of the town of Homer. That was my goal. We'll get all the information tonight, and everything I've got has been logged in, and we'll walk through it. It might get a little slow, so if you guys get too hot, speed me up. I'm going to have difficulty moving this forward page by page, so we're going to see a lot of scrolling. So if I confuse people, I will go back and redo some things. So, anyways, respectfully listen, seek common ground, consider unintended consequences, and propose thoughtful solutions. Those who know me, those that have seen me work, that is what I do. So, let's go into the first one. Legal and policy framework. A couple of things that came to my attention early on when we were approached to make some changes is the amount of legislation that's out there already that encompasses a lot of what we are trying to do today. We'll talk about. All right. The first thing was the Highway Beautification Act. We received some letters on the Highway Beautification Act, and that was in 1965. And that governed when Lady Bird Johnson went around and saw there was too many road signs covering up everything. The 40s and the 50s was when everybody was starting to drive around and had lots of cars and do lots of things. So we understand that, and we know that there's a bunch of properties that became ineligible over the course of time doing that. Some people lost the ability to advertise. Others didn't have it at the time, but were still included in the group. So that was the first bucket. That's the federal legislation. Any business or commercial or industrial were okay to feed those in. Anything else was removed. Getting into the New York State Part 150, this is what I wish I had put in. Okay, Part 150, the New York State DOT law, which governs all of the highway road signs. Theirs and anybody else is what we call the commercial billboards, I guess is what you want to say. And the third one was the Town of Homer Comprehensive Plan. And that's kind of the third bucket that I had that kind of brought me to where I thought we might have the ability to do something. Okay, this is where the mouse is. Okay. Okay, so the Town of Homer Comprehensive Plan, once I got to there, I thought maybe I could actually do something with this. Okay. Okay, this is where it's going to get high. Okay, I'll get faster with this later. Okay, so our comprehensive plan came into effect in 2013, October 2nd, 2013, with the assistance of the Corona County Planning Department. So I spent some time there. Some previous information from prior lawsuits places a lot of emphasis on the comprehensive plan, so I figured if we couldn't get past that, then we couldn't get past anything. So I went to our own comprehensive plan and started going through it. We're trying to be consistent. The plan provides for the development of policies of land use which are consistent with an increasing awareness of our responsibility in maintaining a functioning natural environment. That's the stuff that's highlighted that you probably can't see. And preservation of open space, agricultural land, highway construction, land taxation, and other matters are typical things about discussion in the comprehensive plan. Okay, some of the things that were put in our comprehensive plan in 2013, which is what we had a bunch of people on, is some suggestions that they had, and I've highlighted those here. Encouragement of commercial light industrial development in designated areas through incentives such as empire zones and infrastructure investment. We don't have the empire zones anymore. Infrastructure investments has been slow and coming.
Can you turn your mic up a little bit?
I think it's all the way up. It is.
Fan over here.
Where can we turn the fan down so? I think that fan is either on or off, so let's see how we do it.
Okay, so is that better, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. So, so we go through this, and we got residential development should not be encouraged on prime agricultural lands. 57% of our town is agriculture and farmland. We like farms and cows, and that's kind of our thing too. So we want to encourage proper use of lands when it comes to agriculture and stuff like that. Commercial activity has been concentrated over the years in and near the village of Homer in Little York and East Homer. Future commercial growth should be encouraged to continue in those areas. Those are the areas that have been specified for this potential project. We have a couple of locations here. These blue areas here, you all got maps, but the blue areas here are the business districts. Okay, and the pink area is the industrial. So those are what we have to work with in the town of Homer. Light industrial development should be encouraged near compatible, usually commercial land. Light industrial development should be concentrated in and near the village of Homer, Little York, and East Homer. Light industrial development includes industrial activities that are not out of concept with a rural type thing. Nuclear plants, things of that nature is all I can see. So we got that. So we're still okay on that one. Okay. Okay, lakeside residential, that's some other things. So development of commercial areas and uses should maximize economic benefits while minimizing environmental impact. That's another good. We're all very responsible people nowadays, and these are things that we want to try to do. So I take that one to heart as well. Okay, so we actually got through the comprehensive plan that would allow something like that in these particular districts because they are residential, they are business and industry. Okay? So I think the rest of that is just all other stuff I've been working on over the years. Commercial and light industrial development, I highlighted a prime location to consider around the area, around the ponds vacated by the former mining operations along US Route 11, and that's the areas that we're looking at trying to do this project. The areas close to existing infrastructure, village of Homer, transportation, US Route 11. These ponds are useful, and that's the industrial and the business section that clusters in that area. So I made it through the comprehensive plan regarding whether or not we're in the land use area. So moving on, I went into the next chapter, which is local information gathering. And that's where I was listening but never talking. And I was never soliciting, and I was never trying to create an area where I actually created an opinion rather than just listening to people talk. So I waited till people called me. I was doing my thing, and I received a lot of feedback. We got the letters. Every letter that's ever been sent and written, I've actually gone through. A lot of good information. A lot of places to go and check. A couple of the letters that I want to talk about tonight is James Pedron that had a letter coming to me. You can see some of the ideas that they brought up and the concerns. And I had gone through all of those concerns and tried to find all these advertisements and things. I couldn't find those, but I did find some other things along the way that we could use for information in making our decisions. I know I'm going fast. Okay, Chris and Andy Young. They called me early on, and I think they made a mistake and actually put their cell phone number on it, and I called them. And they invited me out to their house, and we had a great 2-hour conversation, and I met them with wonderful people. And I think they understood where I was coming from and what I was doing, and I certainly respect them. And I took their ideas and their concerns as well and put them in the thing of things I had to work on. It doesn't matter what I do if I can disprove a negative or prove a positive. It doesn't matter. I was doing both sides of this. So we got information from there that went into the data collection, and then I got the letter from Karen Dudgeon. And that was the electronic and the lighting and all of that. And that actually was something that I placed a high priority on. You can see I got a lot of scribble on that line. 10 times brighter, massive, 50 foot tall, and be the tallest and brightest things for miles. And I certainly didn't want that. And as people were calling me and talking to me, they didn't want that either. We got the research and the guidelines from International Dark Skies and electronic messaging centers, which I spent an awful lot of time in. So I'm appreciative of that, I did spend a lot of time on that. And I think we have some reasonable solutions that came out of that. Brenda Contento sent some pictures, okay? And the height was a big thing as well. So we wanted to kind of find out if we could do something in or not as far as height. I know everybody thinks 65 feet is it. Okay, and it's possible in some locations that it would be. However, in our potential sites, that would not be the case. Martin Sweeney sent a letter, and I think the thing that caught me that was like, I suppose if billboards directed motorists to turn at the next exit to visit historic Homer, that we would feel differently. So, is there an economic component there? So I highlighted people's letters. Anita Jevitt. Billboards are things of the past, our cell phones and TVs and everything. I get it. I understand. Everybody in this room, if you're on a wireless, has already been tracked and is being fed information on metadata. We get it. Okay. Are they the past? Well, okay. We got to find that out. And I think the last one, Jeff Funk. We have some people that were not Homer residents. I put them in, I looked at them and worked it, but I got to tell you, if I'm getting letters from Bradenton, Florida, or Windermere, or something like that, talking about how nobody's here anymore, nobody's on the street, nobody's paying taxes or doing anything, I didn't give it as much indication. So as we go through those, we've got them all, okay? And a lot of the times they would be a lot of the same information. So I was able to gather some good points and then start working on those. So here's a lot of the addresses of the people that I got. So I actually wanted to see what was going on. And actually I got a map and I actually plotted everybody's letters about where we were. And I could see that Little York was a hot spot. All right, so that kind of drew me into that. Obviously the other two locations in the industrial or the business section weren't as important. And these seem to be real important. So I had to pay real close attention to that and make sure that whatever happened, if it happened, was right. So I pulled the search results on everybody's. We got about 165 properties out there, okay? And we were looking at how difficult this might be, what's going to prop, okay? And then we got a lot of Facebook stuff. And everybody's just been on the Facebook. Okay, any type of information that got on Facebook that got back to me, I included. Even if I wasn't on it or not, I felt it important enough to have and be able to talk about information that people might bring up. So we'll go through that. That's all fine. But all this information was collected and used to try to draw a good solution on possibly doing something and see if it works. So the other things I did is I started reaching out to people, not for opinions, but just kind of research, traffic. What do we got for traffic around here? What is our economic? Okay, so we've got traffic studies that are coming in. We've got right now the Homer area, the exit, the on-ramp, and everything is probably one of the busiest exits along 81 right now. Up Route 90 and 281, I didn't have data for, so I reached out for accident data, and I received the fact that we had about 11,548 cars a day going up Route 90, and they're getting off on our exit or on 281. I then reached out to the Chamber of Commerce and the Homer Business Association, and I didn't ask for an endorsement or whatever. I just said, is there any feedback on whether or not anybody wants to do anything? So they took surveys, and the surveys got back. And there was interest in doing it. I didn't ask for an endorsement or anything like that. Just that there was interest and just that people actually want to spend money on advertising. So we went through the Homer Business Association, and they did, and I think I'll come up with some. It might be in a later section. But anyways, we came up with yes, that there is interest in doing it, and yes, it is local if they could afford it. So the next thing we had is a while back we had the joint meeting with the planning board and the town board, and everybody got up and talked. And we've always been under let everybody talk and let them come in. So we had that general meeting, and I took all the notes from that. So anything that anybody said was in here, and we gathered that and put it in there. And a lot of the comments were the same, so we just kept doing it. And then, like I say, Miles, I don't know if you're in the room tonight, but you were the lighting guy, and you were going to Vegas, and these are things that I was looking for to do. So because lighting wasn't very important to me. Anyways, we go through that, and we get that, and move on. So that's kind of what we got for information coming back in that particular way. So that's the information gathering. I think I have more in here for local information gathering. A while back, the Little York Lake Improvement Society sued the town of Homer back in 90-something. And I don't know if there's a date on there that you can see. But they had a chance to put a factory in town, and it was really good, going to create a lot of jobs and do a lot of things. And everybody's happiness to actually bring jobs in, they changed the zoning of a particular property. And that was defeated, and I agreed with that decision as I read it. Okay, you can't spot zone, although the intentions were good. I understand, okay, when we get it. And I don't know what happened after that, whether they went back or whatever, but I'm just saying, okay, spot zoning and changing a particular property just to do one particular thing is not what, no, this was a good judgment and a good order, And I wanted to go through it and make sure I didn't make the same mistakes. So we spent a lot of time on that. Okay? Going through and finding out what exactly is going on. So after we get through that, okay, I look around locally about what else is going on. And we have a solar company, a lot of solar is coming in. We got a lot of people that want to do it. We got a lot of people that don't. We got a lot of good farmland that's going to be used for. We got a lot of farmland that's being used for solars, which is kind of counterproductive to having cows and selling our milk to burn dairy and stuff like that. So we're kind of looking at that real closely. But when you actually ban something and say no, never, generally when it goes to court, all the way up to the Supreme, you'll end up losing because you can't ban everything out. Town of Chemung learned that in October 13th of 2023 when they tried to ban all solar panels. So it got overturned. When the zoning was done back in, 2012 or 2013, we actually had to put a zoning in for adult clubs. And there's a place in the town of Homer that's reserved for adult entertainment. It's between two manure pits somewhere on Route 13, but I'm not entirely sure. But we couldn't zone it out, okay? So there were some pretty good thinkers in that particular thing. So those I took down. And then we've all talked about the chicken law, where it was not okay, it was against the law to keep chickens in the town of Homer. And we wanted to change that and make that. Now, that was kind of an interesting one. That went on for about a year, and I finally started going door to door and talking to people about it and finding out what's going on. We have clusters of residences, and then we have sprawling farms and 25-acre house farms, gentleman farms, and things of that nature that they want to do their things. All right, so we had to find a workable way to do that. We actually did, and we found some pretty cool ways to do it. And I used a lot of that in trying to reach a consensus. And it seemed to work, all right, because now the town of Homer can have chickens on their land without too much issue. So we got that. So the next thing is, that's your law. The next thing as far as laws and changes and stuff like that were something that came to us in 2019. And that was one of the things that we also worked on is we didn't allow breweries and farm distilleries. And we kind of thought that was a good idea when Homer Hobbs came and said we would like to change the law and do that. So we worked pretty hard on that. I think it got turned down from the ZBA the first time, and it just went around and around. But we kind of thought that, that could kind of work out. So we did things like that, and we did change zoning to provide people the ability to use their land in a regulated way that would fit in with the environment and how we're doing it. So then the next one that we had, I don't have it per se, but Quagmire Manor, okay, back when they came in, was not supposed to be there. And we made, I wasn't there at the time, but changes were made through a series of pieces of legislation to allow the Quagmire Manor to do its thing. So the town of Homer has the ability to do that, and it seems to find good businesses that come along. So another thing that happened to me at the time, the district attorney in Orleans County, Joe Cardone, has an old theater there that's it's a short theater, and he can't get lights for his marquee. So I gave him a call. We had a nice chat for about an hour. I actually went up to Medina, and their planning board is going through the same thing, where you have folks that are restoring buildings, trying to do things, and bring them into updated situations. But the lights of the old are not there anymore, and we need to make some changes. They're currently working on those changes. But you see where these things have to kind of come to some kind of a compromise or something. Otherwise, you'll never get anything going forward. So I took that to heart, and I had a good conversation with him, and probably be checking on him at some point in time. So basically, that was how we came up with the legal precedents and case law analysis through what we did as far as changing the zonings and things of that nature. We've had some pretty good success. We've always said, and I've always said, Homer does it better. We find creative solutions, And we seem to have a track record for doing that. No, well, actually, they'll tell you in the end. Okay, so now I have a series of, and this has all been on the website, so I'm kind of working I call it my approach document. So we have the key concerns and impact areas, and this is where the meat and the potatoes comes in. Okay, and I broke it down into, maybe I have it, no, maybe I don't. Okay, I do. Okay, so we have environmental, visual, and public safety combined. We have zoning consistency. We talked a little bit about that. That's about zoning. We have effectiveness, if they're any good or not. Those are things that got brought up. We have property and economy. It's going to tank it. It's going to hurt. It's going to help. It's going to do it. We had some ethical considerations early on that were talked about, which I included. And then we have objectionable advertising, which were some of the things that came up to me as well. So this is kind of the meat and the potatoes of things we got. So lighting, yes. Height, yes. Yep. Those are things that I keyed in really well on. So I had some research done and did a lot of visiting and a lot of talking and everything like that. And I came up with a bunch of stuff that kind of got us to a point where we have maximum resolutions and minimums and night times and all sorts of things that are out there now. So I have a nighttime brightness level recommendations from the International Sign Association that we work with. And as we go through these are things that are going. They had some case studies where they're actually starting to really kind of diagram in, find locations, and see how it works in with the environment and locations. And I went through these case studies and spent a bunch of time on them. And we're kind of doing what they all did. We understand we don't want to have 27 billboards. I don't want it to be like Watertown, but I'm also against not ever having anything. So where can I find some compromise that tonight maybe we can come together on this? So those are things that I work with, and I kind of drafted my ideas along with it as I drove up and down 81 for many, many times. So the other one I came up with came from the National Institute of Health. I know, Stephanie, you were talking about some of the stuff on your pages is referenced in here as well. I don't know if your page made this cut to me. So the impact of billboards on drivers' visual distraction. Okay, while it's kind of something that it's not something I would do as a town board member, the state DOT's got that and everybody does that, but I really wanted to answer that question and kind of find some Homer type style Kevin research for this. So I came up with this thing where they were going through, and billboard-related distractions appear to be minor and regulated by drivers as demands when the driving tasks change. And you can't see it. I'm going to read it verbatim for
Who
what's.
did that research?
The National Institute of Health. That came off their website. So the findings suggest that this may not be true in all cases. Future research should emphasize details of the distribution and the addition to the average cases and stuff like that. So basically, they found that right now it's not really causing a problem.
I have research that says otherwise.
So we got that in there. Now, I drive a car with a huge screen, and I think I'm going to get in an accident quicker with that huge screen than I'll probably be available. My personal take. So the meat and potatoes on the lighting, the actual brightness, the actual lighting, the actual distracting stuff is all in New York Part 150. Okay, that's the criteria for regulating off-premise commercial electronic variable message signs. We call it CEVMS. And this document was kind of an offshoot document of the other big one, where the state does all of their lighting guidelines and does all their signs and everything like that. So once I got this kind of took shape. So we like messages based on DOT and what they see and what they find to be about 8 seconds. Straight 8 seconds on, 8 seconds change. No animations, no things of that nature. It's there, and then the next one is there. Transition times are instantaneous. Okay. And if accidents rate increase, on a CBS location, spacing requirements will be revised, and they have all these things that they keep looking at. These permits are issued annually. So there's always going to be an update where there could be something changing. There could be some new construction or something like that. The maximum brightness has already been, it's in New York State Part 151, 5,000 candles per meter squared, and that is basically what's called a nit. So I actually was able to convert that. And the minimum is 280 candles per meter squared. That's a lot of stuff. But basically, I think you'll come into another article here where at nighttime these things will dim to 3%. So at nighttime, you're going to be way down, and the trajectory or the angle of how these things go based on where they're placed is going to hit 81, and it's not going to go up or spill into locations where we may not want it. So we've got a big space to work with. Okay? So that was kind of the guideline once I got that. But I was actually kind of confused with it because nits and candelas and meters and stuff like that was just a little too much. So I reached out and I got some outside guidance that would answer to me or give me what I thought was good information. I know I have manufacturers tell me something. I know I have everybody saying everything I needed to come up with something. But I did have the 5 principles for responsible outdoor lighting from the Dark Sky Nationals. So we kind of use that as an overlay as well. So we followed those guidelines. And we were successful in getting through what they think. Lighting should be directed only where it's needed. Low level, no higher than necessary. Controlled and warm colored. I know that when you go to the BJ's store and you get off that exit there is no electronic controls on lighting, and it will blind you. I see that and I saw it, and I'm like, okay, we need to put some kind of technology in there that senses that and changes that. So we've actually incorporated something of that nature. Mike dropped off an international dark skies lighting guidelines, so I actually threw that in there, and I spent a lot of time with that as well, going through and kind of figuring out what's going on. And even IDA, Dark Skies Association, recognizes that these installations will continue to be developed and installed, and it therefore presents the following guidance from a technical and scientific standpoint. This is pretty good. Okay, so we were able to work within those guidelines. And there's all sorts of zones when you're creating things, and you're going through it, and we've already got our zones and those types of things. So, one of the things is, do we want to shut down at nighttime? Well, if 81 shuts down, then I really would support something like that. But at this point in time, the language there fits into the form of the dark skies. So I was kind of pleased with that. So here's, I think I talked about, we went down from 100% to 3%, and it's all highlighted out, and you can't see it, but basically it's like at nighttime or during lighting conditions, whether it's rainstorms or bright sunlight, okay, these are light sensing technologies, and at nighttime will dim to as low as 3% based on the time of night, the weather, how dark or how light it is. So here's just another picture. I was trying to get an idea of what people thought for candelas or nits based on just regular lighting. Again, I'm not trying to create something. I'm trying to find something that fits into what we already know and we already see and already accept. So I did find that, okay? And it's similar, and it's there in our day-to-day seeing of lights, cars, reflections, anything of that nature. I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. So I reached out and I talked to the engineering on the Little York potential site, and I asked them to do a light study for me to see what we've got. You can't see it, I get it. You probably don't have it, but it is on the website and it was released on the forum. How do I do control bigger? You're not going to see it. Anyways, you got about a 400 or 500 foot area, and by the time you get out there, I wish you could see it. Okay, you're looking at the outer circle here, This point right here, to give you some idea, is the point of the inside angle. The two sides will go like this, all right, and this inside angle would be here, and this is Mountain View Drive right here, okay? So you're here on the small side of it, okay, and your light pattern ends at .002 out there at that point in time. So the spillover is not bad. I believe the engineering on that is going to be somewhere between 400 to 600 feet, 81 specific on the north and south, and it will leave this untouched and everything else around it untouched. So that was kind of another piece of the puzzle that came together that we were doing. This is on the website. I know you don't see it. So, anyways, okay, so now what else are we going to do and kind of figure out what's normal and what's not normal? So I've been driving the streets at night. I'm glad nobody's called the cops on me. But we've got Mountain View Drive that has a spotlight on the garage that probably has about 15 or 20 times the light that any billboard would have. Necessary, okay? It's bright, okay? It's right there when you turn the corner, and you can see it for a lot of time. So I'm looking at it and saying, okay, we accept certain things in certain locations. All right, is what we want to do, or potentially what we want to do, out of whack? So I don't think it is, okay? Because we need light. We can't go in complete darkness. So to get an idea of what's going on now, I'll try to make it bigger. You can't see it too well, probably. But typically, when we get into the distances, that is approximately 30-some feet above the roadside. All right? We haven't gotten to those things yet, but the signs will be no higher than 40 feet. All right? And probably closer to 35, because the actual locations in the industrial and the business sections are flat as can be. And they're very, very close. So if you guys all have your law, let's take a quick look to where we're at on the law. Okay. And we've got the height no higher than 40 feet. I know we can go to 65. It doesn't play out in this area. If it's 65 feet, everybody will be doing this. Okay. These spots right here are flat. They're very specific, and my guess is that they're not going higher than 40 feet. My guess is they're going to be around 35, which is about the height of a regular building. And that's kind of a pictorial view of what you've got. If you go look at the exit 10, which is the PNC? 11? Okay, exit 11. That's approximately about 35 feet high when you get off that exit and do that. Okay, so that's the impression that you're going to see. Okay? So now moving on to zoning consistency. So you got your maps. I'm glad you got them. I'll just show them up here. Maybe I got them in here. Maybe they'll look decent. Okay, so all of these properties, remember we go back to the Highway Beautification Act of 19-something-65 or whatever. This is a town of Homer map from circa 1959, showing the business and the industry zoning, which applies forward on the Beautification Act and then falls into the Part 150 state and walks through our town of Homer comprehensive plan. Those properties survived, and they've been that way, and they've been that way even before I was alive. So they have the ability to do something like this. This map is going to look halfway decent. Good. Okay, so if you it's not. Okay, it's going to be too dark. It looks really good up here. So, anyways, we have the law, and we diagram the law out based on the restrictions that were put in. So if you have the law, let's walk through it right now, and we'll tell you the meat and the potatoes that makes this the Town of Homer Billboard Overlay Law. And so if we're in Section 1904, okay, we have followed all three buckets that I used: the Highway Beautification Act, the New York State Part 150 regulations, and the Town of Homer Comprehensive Plan. And we came up with off-premise advertising signs to be visible to travelers on Interstate 81, We are not talking about Route 13 or Route 281 or 11. No more than 200 feet from the highway right-of-way. We tightened it up really tight, so it's specific only to 81, and we put a ceiling height in there to keep it to the travelers on Interstate 81. They will not be erected within 500 feet of an interchange, intersection, safety rest stop, or information center as measured on the highway right-of-way. That is in New York State Part 150. That is their law. We put it in ours. Off-premise advertising signs shall not be erected within 500 feet of any habitable residential structure existing at the time of installation, measured in a straight line direction. We put a limiter in there, depending on what happens in the future, to protect the current housing in that particular way. We did have I'm out of order with it, but we do have a gateway to Homer restriction, where the intersection of Route 11 and Route 81, where the bridge is and Route 11 is as you go under the underpass as you're heading out of town, that particular area all the way to the village line has a gateway restriction on it. We opted for that one based on the comments and the input that we had from the village. The next one in number H is any property within the overlay district is subject to the regulations on it imposed as well as the overlay districts. Meaning that if you have a residential, you can't really change it to something different or whatever. Whatever's there and whatever follow through this path is the way it's going to be. So we don't see that being something there that we're going to be flipping. Okay, here, and number H, any property designated within the overlay district is subject to the regulations of the underlying district upon which it is imposed, as well as the overlay district regulations. The bulk regulations of the underlying zoning district shall apply to the underlying bulk regulations directly conflict with the requirement. You must have done that one, Dan. Okay. Anyways, the total number of off-premise signs. I had a question on that the other day. Total number of off-premise signs overlaid in the business district as zoned shall be no more than 2. So in this blue area in your maps that you hopefully you guys all have, this blue area here and here are our business districts, and there can be no more than 2. We have an industrial district, which is this guy right here, the purple guy, okay? And down in this little cut right there, there can be no more than 3. There are other purple locations on 13, but they're 200 feet off the right-of-way exclusion. Okay, an off-premise advertising sign. We're on section 1905 now, guys. On section 1905, an off-premise advertising sign located in a business district should not be located within 4,000 feet of any other off-premise advertising sign. So once a pin gets dropped, there's a 4,000-foot separator. Distance will be measured to the closest end of the off-premise sign to the other existing off-premise signs. I did a designation for light industrial districts shall not be located within 1,000 feet of any other off-premise sign. We've spaced them out pretty good. When it comes to the digital, section 1905C comes right from the state DOT, Part 150. Off-premise advertising signs that contain digital or electronic faces shall not be located within 3,500 feet of any other off-premise advertising sign containing a digital or electronic face. That comes directly from New York State DOT. And the qualifier is that we run it on the sides of the highway, north and south. So basically, the minimum distance of off-premise advertising signs shall apply only to the sign structures located on the same side of the highway. We looked at everything separately going north and everything separately going south. So you guys all got it. It's all been released. Okay, these are the 500-foot exclusion zones. Here's one here. This is the gateway one to the village. I do have a 1,200-foot town courtesy to the town north of us, Preble, not encroaching on their property. So we offered a 1,200-foot buffer to them. We don't know what they want to do or if they want to do anything, but we wanted to give that buffer out there. If you're looking at the blue that's coming down, you probably can't see it. All right, that is the 200-foot right-of-way. GIS maps got it going and following the river, but it's basically from the center line of the road is the 200-foot right-of-way. and the zones that are available, you might be able to see it available for possible right there, the yellow there, and the one up to the north. Okay? So that's kind of where the zone is, and the zoning consistency applies, and how you can get them in. But once you get them in, a whole bunch of limiters come into play, and we do reach a max if you do reach the max. Okay, and I'm still in the law as part of Homer's Law. Section 1908 is illumination. We've done that. We've got 280 candelas at night and 5,000 during the day. And then on section D, it's every 8 seconds. We took that straight from New York State DOT. So once I got that and I got that plugged in and I figured out the courtesies and stuff like that, things started coming together. Right, we're still moving on. So a lot of questions came up about they're not effective anymore and they're just not going to work. And I get it, and I did some research on it, and I got a bunch of stuff there. So I did some search and found that I was actually kind of surprised that billboards are not going away, and they're actually coming back. So advertisers by category, you probably can't see it. It's miscellaneous local services, retail, media and advertising, restaurants, financial, government.
What's the source?
The source is, you've got it, Stephanie, you've got it. Like impact on OAAA issue brief. Okay? So, so in rural areas, billboards predominantly serve small local businesses.
Who paid for the study?
I don't know, it's online. Let me finish. It's all online. Okay?
Advertising association will pay for it.
So, in rural areas, billboards predominantly serve small local businesses. A large-scale study of 3 rural towns conducted in 1995 showed conclusively that the majority of billboards in small-town America serve small local businesses. And 90% of the billboards in the study contained advertising for locally owned businesses. Now, we don't have to believe it, but you're going to see the next batch of slides that show all of the 3 digitals we do have in Cortland County now are all predominantly local businesses. So, there are additional reasons why billboards are valuable to small rural businesses, because it allows people, on average, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 74 cents a pop, give or take, to put stuff up there. So, this survey came out that way. So, another survey that I found, billboards are back bigger and better than ever, okay? Are people spending money on it? Okay? So, again, it's all highlighted. It looks really good for me.
Can you go back just a little bit so you see the date on that?
It's all online. Everything's been released. Everything I have here is on the website. Okay, the projected share of 2018 global ad spend. Okay, outdoor advertising, it's up 7%. Newspapers, 9%. Televisions, 5%. And unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, internet is up 40%. Small town retail is fighting the internet now. And it's going. 5 years ago, they were telling us this is the way for the future. So you got that. So as we go and look here, here's where the overall growth is going. The internet's up again, huge numbers. Outdoor advertising's up. Television, radio, newspapers, and magazines are dropping. We're giving up our notebooks. So this goes on and implies some stuff, direct-to-consumer brands, things like that, things of local people being able to advertise things on an 81 corridor, not on our local roads. So that was kind of an interesting survey. Let's see. Okay, so the next one that comes up is, yeah, it's an advertisement. Okay, understood.
Trying to protect the screens.
Yep. Okay, I actually didn't shrink it from the last one. So basically, I had said that LED signs deliver results. Again, it's something that we need to deal with and look at and see if there's any interest. But you can see where cost per thousands of impressions, the amount of turns, the amount of Cs that you get, would be feasible for local businesses to do it. Now, you don't have to believe it. All you got to do is go on Route 13, Tompkins Street, and by the new hotel that's up there by the state DOT. 90% of them are all local. Hold that thought. Okay? Now you can't see it, but we have local people doing local things. We have recruiters. We have Cayuga. We have Brockway that's done it on the big ones. We have the car wash that's done it. Portland Dragons one, that ends up. We have the Apple Harvest. We have Buy Local. We have Cayuga. We have Direct Port Careers. We have Empire Tractor. We have Kinney's Drugs. We have Guthrie. We even got some folks coming in from the Hudson Valley trying to recruit
A lot
people.
of these are owned by big corporations,
Okay.
they're not digital.
You're right, and the Living History Center, I get that, we don't want to include that either. Link advertising, okay. We have Levian Jewelers, Robinson's Jewelers, Drumlins, Visions, Ron's Auto Body and Paint. We have St. Anthony's that advertises every year. We have Visions, Aid to Victims of Violence, and some of these are repeats, but this is kind of what's going on. Brockway. So, again, they're there, okay? And here's your... Okay, so we got that. So we say the signs don't work. Well, they kind of do, and let's see what we got here. We also have local signs being done too, off-premise advertising. You might think that off-premise advertising is just 81, it's just it. No, off-premise advertising is everywhere. We do it all the time. So everybody that's got a no billboard sign in front of their house is advertising off-premise signs.
It's not a 40-foot digital.
Doesn't matter, okay? That's right, I get it.
This is a different scale.
Come on, hey.
Perpetuating lies at this point.
Okay, you made me mess up my slides. We're gonna have to watch it all over again. So, what I'm saying to you guys is, advertising works. Everybody's got advertising. We got a boatload of signs on this property, okay? So when everybody wants to put signs up, we advertise. We also advertise St. Anthony's Day on these signs, off-premise signs. And you're right, they're smaller, but they go out.
And they're temporary.
Okay, and they're temporary. And then we have, other people putting signs up on telephone poles and utilities. And everybody wants to advertise. Little York Lake Preservation Society wants money to advertise. Everybody advertises, okay? We get it, okay? It works, okay? It works, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, I look at them every day. I have no problems, honestly, I have no problems driving by that.
Put it next to your
Information
house.
for the board.
Put it next to your house.
Okay,
You like to look at it with your bedroom window every night?
Would you slide your projector again, please?
yeah. So let's look at impact. Okay, we're going to do sales tax. Sales tax here is what kind of economic impact is it going to have? Okay, we bring in about $39 million in sales tax in the county. Everybody knows how difficult sales tax is going to be right now. I get it. We're working the problem. Can we increase sales tax? Here, I believe we can. Okay, the town of Homer budget. Okay, the sales tax revenues are $1.2 million a year. It's about 60% of our, between 60 and 70% of our budget that's generated from sales taxes. What is not generated by sales taxes and other sources of income is balanced by taking an ad valorem tax on people's property. The last thing we do is to reach into everybody's pocket and balance the budget on property taxes. I would be not financially prudent if I didn't consider trying to increase the sales tax and reduce property taxes on every homeowner and everywhere.
Property values go down.
Property values will go down as well.
Hold that thought. So anyways, that's ours. I know we're gonna fight some budget issues with the county because the county's taking it, the city's taking it, everybody's taking it. All I know is that if we increase it, it's gonna help us a lot. Okay, so the issue as far as, it's gonna reduce property values, all right? It's gonna decrease property values, excuse me. Okay, this survey I found, and I think this was on Stephanie's page as well, okay, that furthermore, studies found that homes located further than 500 feet away from a billboard, but within a community where billboards are still present, see an impact in their home prices. A decrease of nearly $1,000 for every billboard in that community, okay? Everybody's way past 500 feet, and nobody's gonna see it, they're just not gonna see it.
It detracts from the overall aesthetic of the community, and therefore property values will go down everywhere.
And right now, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I think our equalization is running at about 60%? 63%, which means we are undervalued on all our home properties. And all the home properties are going to be revalued in the next 2 years. And we have a whole bunch of good things happening with real estate. I did not see any indication where there would be any reduction in that.
You pay $12,000 a year in taxes.
So, how much traffic is on Route 81? If we thought that there was only 500 cars, all right, probably not. We have about 31,500 cars a day going down Interstate 81. So that was pretty significant. A lot of them stop in Homer. And as you can see, the purple here, well, what I think is purple there, that's Homer. Okay, the bottom one is Cortland. The bottom one is Cortland. That's Homer. Okay, we have a lot of activity right on that corner, and it is a lot. We have 31,000 cars a day on 81 driving up. We have Route 13. We have them getting off at Route 90 and going up and over. And it dawned on me one day when I realized that intersection of Route 90 and 281 has the largest concentration of gas nozzles in Portland County. We are servicing the people. We are servicing the people coming off 81. Another couple of anecdotes are, a lot of times they stop downtown. We bring a lot of people in. They like to get water and they like to use the bathroom.
How do you know this?
Because we let them use our bathroom. And the village of Homer doesn't have any public bathrooms. So when everybody shows up with their kids wanting to use a bathroom in our village, we've taken it upon ourselves to let them use the bathroom. That's how I know. Anecdotal, but it's there.
Who's we in that?
Who's what?
Who's we that you're letting use the bathroom? You said we.
The general public. The people that come in and stop and walk the streets of the village with their
Where's the
families.
bathroom you're using?
Mine.
Yours.
Yeah. Okay. Again, we've had this slide before. Route 90 and Route 281, 11,548 cars a day we've got. So we've got a lot of potential there. We've got a lot of ways to work this thing. So we all went through the DRI a couple years ago, and it kind of got me excited a little bit. We're all in a waiting period right now on things, and there's some things that are happening. We have a potential 56-room hotel coming up in the village, and stuff like that. But what they did do is, for 6 months, they had meetings and got online surveys and recommendations from people. And one of the survey responses, types of new businesses for downtown Homer. The first line is restaurants, and the second line is breweries and retail and shopping. And the third line was breweries, wineries, and distilleries. So we got a lot of support, 58%, 57%, and 51%. That needs foot traffic to survive. So we do have an economic impact here that's greater than, that'll help Portland County. Highest priorities for downtown, we can see that. Okay, 74%, supporting and growing businesses. Rehabilitating historic buildings are the top two. Attracting tourists and visitors. Public gathering and green spaces. All those things were in the work and done. We've got a bunch of projects. I don't know how accurate this is now, but it's in the millions. Requested funding, projects that are going to happen in the next 5 years. We have a lot of village projects that are going on, the festival grounds, the stuff like that. How to spend
Stuff like that.
how to spend $10 million, okay? They got a $10 million grant, and they're gonna spend it, okay? And they're gonna do a lot of good things, all right?
A lot of good things.
So, Homer Festival grounds, downtown marketing and signage plans, building renovation programs, public art programs, Water Street Bridge possibly, I don't know if the Lincoln statue is still in there or not, probably not. So anyways, we did reach out to the Chamber of Commerce, and we went over that letter as well. Okay, and there was a survey listed, and it was released under the website. Okay, and that's what I got for you there. And it is some businesses don't want to advertise, but most of the folks that want foot traffic definitely realize that. So we're into almost the last section. Okay, and a couple of things that I did notice while I was doing my route, doing things. Okay, I spent a lot of time in Casanova, which is 26 miles from Homer, and Auburn, and Skaneateles. And last weekend on a Sunday afternoon at 2:30, Skaneateles had 350 people going up and down the street.
And they don't have billboards.
We are not a Skaneateles. Okay, and they have a lake, and they can be them. That's true. Okay, and Auburn has one, and Casanova. But Casanova lost their college, so Casanova is hurting for people now. But there is an area between those three towns where a lot of people do visit Homer, and they like to come, and they like to visit, and they like to spend their money. So we do see that on a day-to-day basis. Have a cup of coffee in the alleyway, and you're liable to find some people from Casanova. We've seen it, and we understand it. So we are a destination. I don't think that the Village of Homer is going to be a Skaneateles or whatever, but we do have an enormous potential to be a really great Village of Homer. So now, one of the other things, you gotta let me get through it. So one of the other things was objectionable advertising and cannabis advertising. Okay? While we can't really control objectionable advertising, I do know the property owners are in the village or in the town and do care about what happens in their town. We understand it. I don't believe we need to regulate it out of existence when we can let people be good neighbors as well. But I don't need to control everything. I don't see it happening. It's not happening now. It's not happening on any of the three. Frankly, I don't see it anywhere. Well, let's talk about the cannabis advertising. Cannabis is a legal product in New York State, whether I agree with it or not. Okay? New York regulations on the signage, here's this one right here. They're very specific on what cannabis can and cannot do. They may only be used to alert consumers of the location of the cannabis business. There is a 30 or 40 page regulation regarding what can and can't happen with cannabis. All right? It's all been legislated out, and it's all there, and the guidelines are somewhere in here. Hopefully I'll find it before the end. No, I'm not going to find it. Anyways, but it's all this is the legislation. Marketing, advertising, and advertisements cannot be easily seen by individuals under 21. That's one of the requirements. Licensees cannot market, advertise, or place advertisements within 500 feet. We have that. Homer has its first dispensary in downtown Village, and it's actually generating sales tax. So whether you like it or not, it's a legal business and it's contributing to the tax base. We welcome them. I do as well. Okay? So that's actually the regulation on that. It's all been taken care of. And oh yeah, here it is right here. Okay? we've got all the details on that, who can and who cannot, what it can include and what it doesn't include. So that's kind of what we got on everything as far as dealing with. I listened to everybody. People communicated in different ways. Sometimes they called, sometimes they wrote letters. They just advertised on the street. We took it all in. I did every day, and I worked the problem. And I believe that this is the end of my presentation. Respectfully submitted.
Want to turn that fan back on now? All right, so we're going to have privilege of the floor. We're going to limit it to 1 minute. And if it's, like I said earlier, if it's person after person, totally opposed, we get it. We'll see a show of hands. We'll have a bigger, if this moves forward, then we'll have a bigger meeting. We'll have 2 to 3 minutes, whatever, so everybody can really weigh in on this. So with that, we'll pass the mic around. I want you to state your name so we got it on the record. And then you'll have 1 minute. And like I said, if it gets repetitive, what's that?
Township too.
Right, and state if you're in the town of Homer or not. If you're not in the town of Homer, personally, I don't want to hear from you. This is town of Homer business. So, Sarah, would you hand that behind you, please?
Hello, I'm Nancy Defoe. I live in Little York in the town of Homer on Little York Lake, and I will be looking at one of those signs right across from Mountain View Drive. Thanks for pointing that out. And my neighbor, Willie Stoss's garage is next to us, and that light is not that bright at all. That's unbelievably absurd. But I think the most telling point tonight was Mr. Williams' remark. There will be no, never. Because he has said that before many times in earlier meetings that I have attended. And what does that tell you? When he talks about compromise, he's talking about you have to accept this. I'm going to find a way to slam it down your throats. And just for your information, he signed a personal contract with a company in Florida that wrote the local law to permit these billboards. And he asked for how many he could get in the linear area in November 11th, 2023. That's his research, folks.
I'm Miles Dudgeon. I live on Route 11. I am a resident. I was going to appeal to your sense of civic pride. I'm giving up on that. There's a lot of factual problems with your presentation. Our yard signs are protected political speech and temporary. It is a very different scale. Your examples of the Route 13 signs, a very different scale. You've said right off the bat, we're not going to allow those type of signs in Homer. Giving them as an example is, frankly, it's hypocrisy. So there's some problems that I will address privately with your presentation. Who's next?
So I was actually glad that you started with the...
Name, please, and where you're from.
I'm sorry. Yeah, my name is Terrence Cahill, and I live in the town of Homer, just immediately south of Little York.
Thank you.
And my wife and I will, if these go through, will have the pleasure of being able to see both of the billboards there at 81 from our bedroom windows. Used to be able to see a nice Christmas tree across the valley, but now it will be a billboard, 2 of them actually. So anyway, it will definitely, all the studies that I have read show that digital billboards do increase driver distraction markedly. They do. By 2 to 3 seconds, which is a huge time not to be looking at the road if you're on 81. So they also, no matter what, how well you have adhered to state or federal laws or guidelines from dark sky, the very fact that there are lights there will make it worse than it is now. If you can look at maps, and you can find these easily online, that show the difference in 60 years since the 1965 Beautification Act until today. The difference in this state and every state across the country for how dark their skies are. It is phenomenal how different it is. And here we are just going to add to it. Whereas most responsible communities are taking them away, not adding to our problems. If the Village of Homer, as...
Well over your time, thank you.
I'm sorry.
I want you to go 2 minutes, but.
Dave Salini, Homer resident. I find it pretty insulting that you would use a 30-year-old study to try to convince everyone in this room that billboards are good advertising and great. Give me something from a year ago, 2 years ago. You're trying to pass it off on us as it's good information? Ridiculous.
Absolutely correct.
I do not live in the town of Homer, but I have many businesses and I'm a landlord of many residences. May I speak? Yes.
You got businesses in Homer?
I do.
Okay. Your name, please?
My name is Renee Niederman. I am a local business owner in the Village of Homer. I own a fabric company. I'm going to publicly say that I am against ugly, tacky, gimmicky billboards in our community, village and town. Our village and town has been blessed with people who have had vision and forethought to keep our history, charm, and aesthetics a priority. New York State has recognized our efforts by giving us wonderful grants and DRI monies to continue our vision. With the future investment and development, which incorporates this vision of what we want it to be, there is no place for these outdated, ugly billboards that benefit just a few. An important part of our charm is being a hidden treasure. Everyone wants to find the hidden treasure. My customer base is very diverse. It is a loyal, local people and many visitors from all over. They've heard about my business by word of mouth and local advertising, and I emphasize the word local advertising. They come to the village to shop and eat at local restaurants, perhaps watch the wonderful talent for the Center for Arts, and soon our visitors will be able to stay at a beautiful boutique hotel and spa. People go to Little York to visit the park, picnic, enjoy the lake, and catch a show at the Portland Repertory Theater.
You're well over your time.
Well, I'm almost done. And I think Kevin had a little more time than I did. Okay? Billboards will not bring more business to our community. Unfortunately, there are people who are trying to convince you that these billboards are going to be good for us. The truth is they are going to be good for a very few. And most of those very few people do not even live in our community.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashley Niederman Bonanno, and I'm a local business owner and resident of this beautiful community. I am also on the Homer Village Planning Board and have been since 2016. When you are a member of a village or town board, it is your responsibility to listen to your people. Your people have made it very clear they do not want billboards. There are 912 signatures that are asking you to represent them. The surface was just scratched when those signatures were obtained. Listen to the people. That is your job. That is your duty for the people as a whole, not just a select few. As I raise my family in this beautiful, charming, historic village, I would like to see the community keep flourishing with beautiful attractions. If I wanted to look at flashing, tacky, classless billboards, I would relocate to Las Vegas or Times Square. Please do your job and help keep Homer, Little York, and other surrounding areas naturally beautiful by maintaining what we have and keeping the tacky billboards out. As Alexander Hamilton says, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Maria Barredo. I am a resident of the town of Homer. I want to address a repeated claim made by some members of this board that quote, many people are in favor of the billboards. To date, no evidence has been provided to support this statement. No data, no documentation, no public record of outreach, just vague references. This is not how responsible decisions should be made. Even more concerning, one board member personally paid for a consultant to support this effort. That raises serious questions about bias and motivation. This proposed change will forever alter our dark skies and the identity of our town. A decision of this magnitude must be transparent, impartial, and based on facts, not self-interest or private agendas. For the sake of our community and future generations, I urge each one of you to make this decision and act with care, integrity, and accountability. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Martin Sweeney, and as the historian for the town and the village of Homer, I have worked my darndest to promote historic Homer, New York, in print, by markers, and public presentations. I believe I am the first to have books published exclusively on Homer's history. With a bronze monument proposed to honor Homer's 3 men connected to President Lincoln, and recognition of other 19th century Homer notables like Andrew Dixon White and Amelia Jenks Bloomer, Homer has the potential, I feel, to become a destination for heritage tourism. Cha-ching, dollar signs. My advice for Homer is to focus on that instead of billboards. Messaging signs, often brightly lit, can significantly intrude upon the historic ambiance we wish to share with visitors and show them what we value or don't value. Billboards will shift the focus to promoting commercial interests that may have nothing to do with Homer. Let's look to building on the past for a better future. Let's invest in the gift history and the environment has given us. Can we do that, please?
My name is Michael Broughton, and I'm a Homer resident. I've spoken with most of the board members this past week, and I really do appreciate your time and your calls back. A few of you have said that there's support in this community for this, but aside from a few landowners and the developer, that support hasn't really shown up publicly. Meanwhile, the opposition has been strong. A few of you mentioned that you wish the town could vote directly on this. You said this, Mike, at the last board meeting. But the state doesn't allow a referendum. I understand, completely get it. That's exactly why a mailed survey, like the one the village did, makes so much sense. Here's a way you can accurately gauge the town's perspective before making such an important decision. The primary argument that Kevin is making is that local businesses will be able to advertise on these boards, and that's good for Homer. So, let's survey all the business owners. But before we do that, we need to know what these advertisements are going to cost. I asked you directly, we don't know that yet. I can't find that number, you can't find that number, we've got to find that number. You've been researching this for a year, it's time to find out the cost and see if the business owners are actually interested. It's dishonest to compare an ad on 81 to the price of an ad on Route 11. That's dishonest. This town deserves this amount of diligence before making such an important decision. And by the way, I am an independent running for town board.
This will be the last one because we get the drift. It's all
Ooh, lucky. Before I begin, let's take 5 seconds of my precious time and clap and applaud if you oppose billboards. Supervisor Park, Deputy Supervisor Warren, Board Member Williams, Board Member Head, and Board Member Leach. For as long as I can remember, the Homer Town Board has been the best town board in Cortland County. We have collected over 800 online and live signatures opposing billboards, an astounding number. Ignoring the will of so many concerned residents and dark sky Homer supporters,
will hurt your credibility and will make the board look foolish for many years. You've heard and could hear so many more overwhelming reasons to reject the overlay district. Please reject the overlay district today and let us all move on with our lives.
Yes.
Good evening. I wish I could speak like some of these guys, but I'm just going to quickly go back in time real quick and
Larry, move over this way.
I'm sorry.
You're right in the
Quickly
line.
remind you of something. You know, originally this was voted on, I voted no. We couldn't get a clean sweep of the votes at that time, so we immediately turned around and kind of cowardly sent it right over to the planning board. The planning boord took a vote, 6-1 against.
No, that's not true. That was an illegal vote.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So we quickly called it an illegal vote. I went to the next meeting and Mike, very proud gentleman, Mike,
McMahon.
thank you, said to Fred Forbes, you didn't want to make this rotten decision. You didn't like our decision. I'll ship it right back to you. And now this board has it, okay? Now just for the fun of it, let's see who's against it. Legislators, Kevin Finch, against it. Board member Kelly Preston, against it. Linda Jones, a senior member, against it. A new one, Reed Cleveland, against it. Martin Sweeney, town historian, against it. I'm a previous board member, against it. I really think this board, not all of you, but a couple of you that are pushing it hard, because the last time I heard propaganda like that, I think I bought a pig in a blanket. I think you're losing the sense of the soul and the heart of Homer and why we live here and pay our taxes and vote and I shop. I've been shopping at Homer Men and Boys for 43 years. So, come on, let's give this some thought before you keep trying to cram this down everybody's throat for 3 years now. You should have respect for our community and why we live here.
Yes.
Thank you for giving me time.
The floodlight you're referencing on West Mountain View, and it looks out over the cornfield, and we have not had one ear of corn complain about that light.
My name is Gary Lawrence, and I've been a resident of Little York Lake my entire life or owned property on the lake. If you take a look around the room, 90% of these people are against the billboards, and they help to elect you. Please do their will and do what they want done. That's your job, to represent them. And they're all speaking out, no billboards. Thank you.
I'll address the town board. My name is Emmanuel Polthos. I'm actually the proposed developer of these billboards. Nice to meet everybody. I own property in the town of Homer. Thank you very much. I am a landowner and I pay taxes, and I'm very concerned about the tax levy, among other things. But thank you, Nancy. So we'll start from the beginning. First things first, I guess I'd like to say, do you think the Department of Motor Vehicles would allow something to happen that's unsafe? Some gentlemen over here said that it's going to be a distraction. I believe the gentleman right there had said that it's a distraction. Absolutely not. The DMV is not politicized, and they're just dealing with facts. There's studies there. The second thing I'd like to say is to thank, please interrupt. So, I'm being interrupted, but secondly, I'd like to thank the board, first of all, for really doing their due diligence, and yes, it's taken quite a long time. The law that you're proposing is way more restrictive than the New York State Department DOT's rules and regulations for off-premise advertising. So I think you're doing the right thing in terms of making it as restrictive as you are. Lastly, someone had said something about Homer Men and Boys. That's Homer's secret. Why don't we help other people know about Homer Men and Boys, right? They're traveling through our county, and at the end of the day, they have dollars in their pockets, and if they knew about it, they would shop here. And it's not just helping the landowners and the developers. Don't forget it's helping the towns, villages, cities, and counties.
All right, your time.
Okay, with sales tax. And no one's ever cursed it also.
And how do you
So we're done. We're done.
How much do you benefit?
He's the developer.
Why did we have this here?
What's that?
Why did we have this done here?
Your presentation is not online according to the clerk, just so you know.
It's not, I called this morning and asked for it specifically.
It has been foiled and it can be out. I think Mike's got it. We're trying to redevelop our website. Our website people do not respond quickly. We've been,
Sorry, I did the FOIL, can I address
yeah,
it?
you
It
can.
is not my responsibility to distribute it.
I understand that, but we're doing everything we can to get it out. I'm not gonna print out 1,000, 2,000 pages.
You wouldn't print it out.
If you contact the Homer clerks, they will send you the link.
No, there is no link. I just
They
wanted
will
to
send you the FOIL content.
the FOIL content.
They will send it to you. I can't help it, we can't get it on the website. We're
Can't read it when it's on the.
We're updating our website to be more responsive. It's an ongoing issue. It takes time, and we are working on it. All right. So what do we want to do?
I want to make a motion that we accept the July 9th working draft as a final draft, submit it to the county planning board for review, and I ask the supervisor and the county attorney to begin the secret 2 process.
Kevin, I didn't hear. When was the website going to be updated, and will it be before the next meeting so that would be available? Couldn't hear me.
I'm sorry, Mike, can you respond to that?
I'm sorry, what was your question?
Will the website be updated and that information available before the next meeting?
I can't guarantee that, but what I'm saying is if you guys email the Homer clerks, they will set you up with the FOIL information. They have it, they'll send it to you. Our website, we're in the process of redeveloping it. We got a
You
new,
don't have a time frame.
I'm hoping in a couple of weeks, but we can't guarantee it. I want it to be done by now, but it's taken, like everything, it takes longer than you expect. On the website, we're working on it. Our hands are tied because it's a developer to do it.
No answers. Got it.
But get a hold of the clerks. If you send an email to the clerks, they will send you the link of where it's been foiled.
Would you guys consider putting it in the Homer News as the lady considered? For public access.
What do you want in the Homer News?
The link, you do a Bitly.
I think the clerk's number is in there. Is your email address in the Homer
Not
News?
their phone number, a link to the information.
You're gonna have to go to there is no other link. You'd have to go to the clerks and they'll send you the contact.
Can you put the link on your website?
It is on darkskyhomer.org, but it is
What's
the
that?
town's responsibility to distribute.
I understand that, and we're doing what we
So
can.
right now, the FOIL I filed about a month ago for most of Kevin's materials is available to you on darkskyhomer.org.
Thank you.
At least we have our stuff together.
Well, I'm glad you do.
My name's Paul Stepien, past president of the New York Lake Association, and I just want to say that right now, Kevin has made a motion, and I'd like to have everyone here, have you board members individually approve or disapprove of that motion.
Can't hear you.
So
Kevin made a motion. We're gonna follow our normal laws. It needs to be seconded. Then it'll be open to discussion amongst the board, and then there'll be a vote taken. That's the way it has to go.
individually,
Individually vote, we're gonna vote as we normally do. Yeah, everybody will know how everyone votes. There are only 5 of us here.
Yeah, I know.
So it's not a big thing.
Are you going to vote?
I can vote, yeah.
Can you explain to everybody why? Because I know a lot of people ask me.
Okay, so I stated earlier, so part of that letter says I'm gonna make a profit off of this. Well, what a fallacy that is. My property was included at first. I said, yes, I would be considered a billboard. That was 2-3 years ago. And I since changed my mind and I took it out. But I also did say at that time, and I was on the radio, that if my property was included, I would not vote. I said that out loud. I've been saying that all along. My property is not included. I took it off, but it was also zoned off. I had nothing to do with zoning, and I approve of what they did because it's the gateway to the town. So I have no conflict of interest. As far as me getting rich off from that, the offer for me was $8,000 a year to have a billboard on my property. Number one, our business is growing. We don't have room for a billboard. I can't give up 6 to 10 feet. We are very busy at our facility. I don't want a billboard on our facility. But so that answers the question, am I compromised? No. Am I getting rich off this? No. Is this gonna finance my retirement? No. Being supervisor to town of Homer, I get $8,000 for 20 hours a week. Am I getting rich? Absolutely not. So another fallacy here.
It's not a fallacy because you originally, earlier this year, said your land was still in play, and then you said you were going to abstain, and then you decided that you couldn't abstain because you knew you needed the vote, so then you took your land out of
It
the
had
way.
nothing to do with my voting.
You
I
are not
hadn't.
being honest.
You can say what you want, and it, you know, you
I've been
guys.
to the meetings and heard you say these
Motion on the
things.
table. All right, so we got a motion on the table, and I've said all along that it took us this long to go through this process because we were trying to do our due diligence. Because I said all along, we're gonna get sued either way. You guys have already lawyered up, because I've gotten a letter from your lawyer that instantly tomorrow, we're gonna be in a lawsuit. So we knew that was coming, and if we don't, either way, we're in a lose-lose situation here, as far as the board goes. We're gonna get sued either way, so I'm just telling you, for the board, we're in a lose-lose situation. So the board needs to, we got a motion, I need a second.
I'll second it.
You're seconding it? All right, any discussion against the board members? Yes, Sarah?
All right. How close do I have to speak to this? Okay. All right. I have been very patient listening to everything that's been going on in this community over the last 2 years. I started coming to board meetings before I joined the board 2 summers ago. I've listened to numerous of the meetings. And I promised myself that I would have an open mind going into this, even though we were promised by Supervisor Forbes that we wouldn't have to deal with it. Good point. Here we are, 2 years later. Kevin, I've been very patiently waiting, listening to form an opinion publicly about how I feel about this. I know you've been gathering information, and I've been waiting to see the what, the why. Why are we doing this? I myself have been doing some information gathering, and after listening to your presentation tonight, I understand what you're trying to do, but I do not understand why you're trying to do this. I travel for work up and down Route 81 frequently, from Pennsylvania border all the way to Canada. As of a month or 2 ago, there are currently 6 electronic billboards on Route 81 from Canada to Pennsylvania. Each of those billboards, there's 2 each, in Binghamton, Syracuse, and in Watertown. And those 6 billboards have something very, very, very much in common amongst all of them. They're all placed in very commercial districts outside of the city, nowhere near housing, nowhere near historic county parks, nowhere near lakes, and nowhere near a historic town. And I've been trying to wrap my head around why. Why are we doing this? This doesn't make sense to me. I love Homer very much. My family and I moved here almost 20 years ago from New Hope, the west side of Skaneateles Lake. We appreciate beauty. We appreciate beautiful grounds, beautiful land. We're farmers. We take care of our land, and we want our land to be beautiful, and we want our community to be beautiful, and we want to support our community. And I'm trying to find out, how is this going to benefit our community? I find a lot of issues with your presentation this evening. I do not think it is fair to compare Route 81 billboards to Route 13 or Route 11 billboards. They are apples and oranges. They are not the same. In my travels, traveling up and down 81, I have not seen once one local advertisement on these billboards. They are Dunkin' Donuts, they are accident victim lawyers, they are car dealerships, and they are medical
and NICEAG ads. That's the majority of the ads that I've seen, and a handful of cannabis now, just lately in the last year. Now you can see cannabis on 81. We are not talking about a billboard that's going to be accessible financially to our local businesses to advertise. I've looked it up. It's not hard to find out. You can look online. The average cost right now to advertise on a billboard in the United States starts at $1,000 per month and goes all the way to $25,000 per month, depending on location and where it is. The average price per month to advertise on a billboard in the entire country is $4,000. I also have spoken to numerous businesses in our community, and every single one of them tells me that not only could they not afford that, any of that, they're not interested. It's not how they advertise. They don't rely on billboards to advertise. They have other forms of advertisement. So I'm still grappling, trying to figure this out. You guys have all mentioned, we're taking this process, we're going down this process to be fair, and I appreciate that. I needed to hear both sides. I needed to hear why, what would this benefit our community? And basically I'm hearing, you're doing this because you're afraid to be sued. That's not a good enough reason for me, okay? And I've looked it up. Is one of the items that you have looked at is our municipal code of signs for New York State, which was recently published in 2024. And as of late, it very much gives guidelines for New York State, for local municipalities on how they designate and categorize signs for the municipalities. It's a hot topic. People get upset, as you can see. And there is a whole section on billboards. And the part in the billboard section that stands out to me is that when municipalities, which thousands of municipalities across this country have on-site, off-site limitations, just as we have in Homer, and we've had in Homer for 20 years. It's a good rule. I think we all agree that it's a good law. And what's upsetting me is that this state regulation is saying as long as the municipality has off-site, on-site regulations in place, that's fair for all landowners and all businesses, you're good to go. You're not going to get sued. I've also found that in a recent lawsuit that happened with the federal government. Let me find it. The city of Austin versus an advertising company, 2022. They were sued by an advertisement company because they instilled off-site, on-site advertising laws. The federal court held the on-site, off-site advertising law. They supported the local municipality for choosing how they're going to handle billboards and advertising. And the biggest thing I keep seeing here is we need to be consistent. It's not up to the municipality to pick and choose winners and losers. We have to be consistent. The reason Homer has this advertising law is to keep junk off of our streets and our beautiful views up and down the highways. And I think unless you guys are proposing that we need to scrap that and allow all landowners this affordability to profit off of having advertising on their farm or their lands, it's very, very unfair. You're picking and choosing a few landowners to do that at the expense of the community. And I just don't understand why we are going down this road. And I am very much standing that I am against this. I cannot see a reason to continue. And if the board does continue, it is my strong recommendation that we need to get a community opinion, a real community opinion. And I've heard the proposal of having mail-in votes. I don't know if I like that idea. It's been proposed by members of the comprehensive board, which is another point I'd like to bring up. We're literally in the process of updating our comprehensive plan. And here you are trying to put billboards in it. We've already met once. We did not have one word about billboards. It didn't come up. It was not a suggestion. It was not something that we agreed on that would increase the value of a living arrangement or living and housing in our community. And it's not in the current 2013, and I guarantee you it's not going to be in the 2025. So I don't like your references to the comprehensive plan. We're right in the middle of right now reviewing and heading forward. I've also found out that the funds that we are applying for to help us to that TOMA grant that is the whole plan is very expensive. There's a TOMA grant we are applying for. There's monies in there set aside for communities, municipalities to hire independent contractors or independent consultants to canvass the town and get an accurate one-on-one, how does everybody feel, so that there's no issues with somebody photocopying or grabbing somebody's mail-in or whatever. I don't like mail-in votes. I'm not a big fan of it. So if this continues, I strongly recommended we go that route because it is very clear. This is not a popular idea. The community's against it. And I agree, this makes no sense. I do not see how we are going to increase sales for the entire community, increase the quality of life for the entire community. I see it for a few landowners at the stake of everybody else.
That took courage. Thank you.
Call the question? I'm gonna call it. All right, I'm gonna call the question, so the vote will be to move forward or to stop the process. So those in favor?
Wait, the motion was to accept the July 9 working draft as final draft.
You say it out loud so we can hear you.
The motion was to accept the July 9th working draft, accept it as final draft, send it off to the county planning committee, and I'm asking the Supervisor Park and Attorney Dan Ellis to begin the secret process.
So can you explain
What's that?
Can you explain what a yes vote means? What a yes vote means?
If it goes to a yes vote, all it means is we gotta do a seeker, it's gotta go to the county planning, it's gotta go to the DOT, there's quite a few steps that have to happen after this. It'll come back to the public, to be voted on. The board will have to re-vote on it if it's gonna accept the law. Am I correct, Dan? And then it has to go to the state of New York, and they have to sign off.
And the no vote would be you don't move forward.
We don't move forward. If it gets voted no tonight,
The honorable thing.
So, all right, so I called the vote. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Nay. And I oppose it too, and the reason being, yeah, so you're shocked.
I am shocked.
And the reason, I'm gonna tell you the reason I oppose it, it's not because I was threatened, but I listened to you guys, but also, I'm the one that initiated the new comprehensive plan, and we're gonna be looking at that going forward. It's gonna take 3 to 4 years to develop that, and maybe there'll be room in the new comprehensive plan for it. I think that's the right way to do it at this point in time. I've struggled with this decision for quite a while. I'm not opposed to billboards, I'll tell you that. I think it's a valuable tool. We're struggling, I'm overwhelmed as your town supervisor. I've got to figure out a way to curb this taxes. We're gonna be getting hit big time, as Kevin pointed out, with taxes. We gotta overcome that. I've got one way to overcome that, is to raise your property taxes. I can't do anything but sales tax. The town of Homer has very lean budgets. We have no way of really cutting. We don't have much areas to cut. I've got 2 building programs going. We had to modernize our town highway department. We had to modernize the town hall to make it a true community building, and that's what we're working on. We partner with the village tremendously. The village of Homer has tremendous programs going on. I'm so proud of what this village is accomplishing for the town and the county. It's just my hat's off to them. We're all part of that. I know I let Kevin down in a sense, but that's why we're here as a board. I take the information seriously, and I think our better way is let the comprehensive plan develop. I'm totally convinced we need more industrial and commercial grounds for the future. Route 80 or 281 and Route 11, we need more light industrial and development grounds for the future to make this community continue to grow. We have very few businesses here. We need more businesses. You got Micron coming in. we're on the verge of exploding here, but we've got to do it smartly. And part of that is our comprehensive plan. I know we spent a lot of time at that. I'm glad to get this behind us, but you got to understand where I'm coming from. Sorry, Kevin, but this is how I truly felt. At this point, I'd rather see the comprehensive plan be developed, and we'll go forward from there.
Thank you.
All opposed,